Hey guys, in this book to screen, I'm going to be talking about Child 44, based off of the book by Tom Rob Smith, starring Tom Hardy, Noomi Rapace, and Gary Oldman. A quick summary of what the movie is about. Like I said, it is based off of the book Child 44 by Tom Rob Smith, and it is about MGB officer Leo Demidov as he gets wrapped up in this big huge conspiracy involving the deaths and murders of a bunch of children who have been found dead at railway lines. But since he lives in Soviet Russia's big motto is "there is no murder in paradise." So Leo Demidov, he has to work around the system and reveal that there is in fact a serial killer running around killing the children of Russia. The book, Child 44, is one of my all-time favorite books. It is easily up there in my top 10 list of favorite books. I have read it a number of times in recent years. I just love everything about it. I love how it's a murder mystery, but it's also a political thriller at the same time. There's just so much going on, very intriguing characters, and just set in a time and a setting that is very unique and interesting. I have been anxiously waiting for a movie adaptation for this book. I've been just literally waiting for years now, and so I got super excited when I heard the casting news, you know, with Tom Hardy and Noomi Rapace and Gary Oldman. I love those actors in general. I think they were pretty terrific choices at the time when I heard their names being cast as the leading characters. But talking about the movie, I'm not quite sure how I feel about the movie. I'm very conflicted. Before I get going, I haven't even stressed this. This will be a non-spoiler review of both the book and the movie, so you could watch this. You don't have to be worried about spoilers. Let's put it this way. The movie is the book for the most part. I was actually quite surprised how much of the book did make the movie. There was just a lot of things that I had kind of thought to myself prior to going to the movie that I was thinking, oh, this scene will most likely be cut, this moment might be cut, this side plot might be cut, but really pretty much everything that happens in the book got into that movie. So in some ways it was a good adaptation, but for me, it's still hard to separate book to screen for me, since I love the book so much, because Leo's backstory, in the book Leo gets a particular sort of backstory. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil that, but his backstory on the movie is 100% different, and by the end of the movie that changes the whole entire ending of the movie, because the backstory in the book is very important to what's going on with Leo in the present. It ends up becoming a very big deal, and then, yeah, by the end of the book, when you realize how the flashback connects to the very end of the book, your mind is kind of blown for a moment. So with the movie, you don't get that same sort of mind-blowing experience. Instead, you kind of feel very detached at the end. For me, it got to the very end of the movie, and I kind of found myself not really caring and not really understanding. Whereas I felt like if the movie had stuck to the original flashback that took place with Leo and then tied that into the very end, then I felt like the ending would have made more sense. I would have felt more, but yeah, like I said, I felt very, very detached by the end of the movie. But yeah, like I said, it is actually a very good adaptation in some ways, but there's just one very particular thing that is changed, and yeah, it kind of ruins the end for me. To talk about the individual characters themselves, I'm still not quite sure how I feel about Tom Hardy as Leo Demidov. Leo Demidov is one of my favorite kind of male protagonists in books that I have read, and I don't know, Tom Hardy, I don't know, I felt like Tom Hardy played Leo a bit too aggressively. In the book, Leo, my interpretation of Leo often came across as very naive in some ways, because he's lived in this society, you know, like I said about, you know, there's no such thing as murder in paradise. Leo has lived in this world where murder was considered a capitalist issue, that there was no such thing as murder in the Soviet Union, because the Soviet Union is so perfect and this and that. So yeah, Leo in the book, he's very, he has very huge ideals, and he's very naive. And he goes on this journey in the book, realizing how naive he has been. And he faces this dilemma kind of near the end, you know, this constant question of, you know, I have wrongfully imprisoned people who were most likely innocent. Am I a monster? So yeah, he has this constant question of, am I a monster? Am I a bad person? And I felt like that little character detail, that character development, I felt like that wasn't present in the movie, which wasn't Tom Hardy's fault, I don't think. That was just a writing problem. But yeah, like I said, I felt like Tom Hardy, though, he got a bit too aggressive for me. I felt like he was really aggressive. And then plus, I had a difficult time half the time understanding his Russian accent. I was able to follow everyone else's Russian accents, but for some reason Tom Hardy's Russian accent, I was having trouble hearing exactly what he was saying. It's like it was a good thing I recently read the book, or else I wouldn't have known what was going on. I also thought Noomi Rapace was fine as Raisa Demidov. I do think Raisa in the book, she was a bit more, I don't know, really strong-minded and opinionated, and she really took charge in a lot of action. And I mean, she would have her moments of weakness in the book, but I felt like in the movie that really strong, powerful Raisa wasn't entirely coming through, which once again I don't think was necessarily a problem from Noomi Rapace. It was just a writing issue. I kind of found Noomi Rapace's, her characterization of Raisa to be kind of simplistic, almost, very calm, whereas like I said, Raisa in the books kind of comes across as very opinionated, and she'll take drastic action if need be, and I kind of felt like she wasn't that way in the movie. And then we have Gary Oldman as General Nestorov, I think is who he was playing, which I do believe that was the character's name in the book, if I'm recalling that correctly. His character in the book is definitely fleshed out a lot more. You do definitely get to know him better as a person and as a family man. And so yeah, a lot of that was cut out of the movie, I think, for obvious reasons. And I had a feeling a lot of that stuff with Nestorov would be cut out, so that he was just going to primarily be there to, you know, work with Leo, Tom Hardy. Another big difference from book to screen, in the book, the entire setting of the book is, it takes place during winter, I believe. There's just constant snow everywhere. Leo and Raisa, they're constantly having to walk through snow and do this and that, and yeah. And it's very cold, and you get this really bleak, dark atmosphere in the book. So the movie, what the movie does, I didn't feel like the movie was very bleak at all. I mean, I guess it was bleak, the situation in general, you know, all these murdered children, you know, popping up. It was bleak in that way, but in terms of atmospheric bleakness, if that makes sense, the movie took place, it looked like, during the summer, or maybe the fall, and yeah, I never saw any snow anywhere. It was just really rainy and muddy, and yeah, it just kind of looked like it was summertime in Russia. So I guess from book to screen, the atmosphere, the overall atmosphere had to be changed, I guess for logistical reasons, you know. It probably would have been very difficult to film the movie in an entirely snowy setting, whereas it was probably much easier and cheaper to film the movie in a more summer-like atmosphere. But yeah, I probably need to wrap up this review. There's tons of things I kind of want to get to in some ways, but a lot of it is very spoilery. So in the comments below, if you have read the book and you have seen the movie and you want to talk about some more spoiler details, yeah, just comment all that stuff down below so we can have a conversation. And have you seen the movie? Do you want to see it? Just let me know your thoughts down below. So that's it for this book to screen. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you liked this book to screen, you may like these other book to screens. Bye guys.